I guess. Welcome screen. All right, welcome guys to another live. This one is I'm always saying it's a good one. It's always a good one. We're dealing with something that everyone deals with, stress. Who is stressed out? Um, so according to American College of Psychology, vast majority of Americans are experiencing moderate to high levels of stress on a day-to-day basis, right? Um, you having diabetes, of course, you always wonder, probably, is stress causing your blood sugars to be harder to manage? Is your blood, those who have high blood pressure wonder, is it the stress that's causing it? Ultimately, the real question is, will this stress kill me? If I don't get my stress under control, regardless of how I'm eating, right? Because we're all eating to live longer and healthier lives. So the question I usually get is, man, like, um, even if I eat a healthy diet, if I still have a lot of stress in my life, is that going to is that going to shorten my lifespan, right? Am I not going to be able to live to a ripe old age with all this stress in my life? I don't know if anyone else has thought that, but it's definitely a question people ask. So we have, I think it'll be good, Carme, at the end. We just talk about, also, I just thought it's like, how you manage your stress, right? Because everyone has different ways of managing stress. It'd be nice to share what we are all doing to manage our stress, because yeah, we be stressed out. um, so I thought to start. So before we go into answering the question, it's going to be hopefully a short live, especially because we have our grandson out there playing, making noise. And as soon as it gets quiet, you might want to check on him. He's one of those. When it gets quiet, you got to see what he's doing. But yeah, I want to go through a questionnaire that you guys can actually follow along. So this is gonna be fun. It's called the Perceived Stress Scale. I think it was, I can't remember when it was created, 1983, developed 1983. So it's been used a lot. I did one in college. Surprise, surprise, I was really stressed in college. And I'm sure if I do it now, it's probably no different. How many years since college? To almost 20 years. I'm doing it again. I'm gonna see how stressed I am. Okay, my wife's gonna ask the questions. You guys can answer the questions for yourself. So this is, well, let me just go ahead and show what the questionnaire looks like. Okay, so you guys can watch on the screen. I'm forgetting my greeting. Anybody who's watching, especially if you're watching the first time, please let us know in the chat who you are, where you're watching from. We also like to greet our viewers who are watching across multiple platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Not TikTok, I don't think. Yeah, TikTok. We don't have TikTok lives yet, but we will. We'll get there. But yeah, let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to greet you. And yeah, are you guys stressed, or am I the only one? so let us know in the chat. Talk to us. All right, so I'm going to pull up this perceived stress scale, and it's going to grade how your perception of how much stress you have going on in your life. I think I have to do it as a screen share. So this is a pretty accurate way of measuring stress. So the perceived stress scale, let's see if I guess you could make this bigger. I like to put this on this side too. It's a little hard to see. I'm trying to find the best way to show this. I think this is going to be good. All right, bear with me. Let me just show the whole screen. Yeah. Yeah. So that's probably the best. Is everybody seeing that? Let me make the screen big on our end. Hopefully you guys can see that. So if you're not seeing it, let me know, okay? But I'm gonna go through the questions. Well, Carmen, you're gonna ask me the questions, and you guys could follow along in answering, according to the question. So first off, let's go through the instructions. So the perceived stress scale is a classic stress assessment instrument. The tool, while originally developed in 1983, remains a popular choice for helping us understand how different situations affect our feelings and our perceived stress. The questions in this scale ask about your feelings and thoughts during the last month. In each case, you'll be asked to indicate how often you felt or thought a certain way. Although some of the questions are similar, there are differences between them, and you should treat each one as a separate question. The best approach is to answer fairly quickly. Okay, so make sure I answer quickly, I guess. Here's a pen. You score me. All right. That is, don't try to count up the number of times you felt a particular way. Rather, indicate the alternative that seems like a reasonable estimate. All right. So does that make sense, everybody? All right. Jackie from Aruba. All right. Let's see. And I guess you wanted to start answering questions. All right. So yeah, from 1, and then I'll explain how to grade it after.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the last month, how often have you been upset because of something that happened unexpectedly?
All right. So 0 being never, 1 being almost never, 2 sometimes, fairly often, very often. In the last month, how often? I'd say sometimes 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
In the last month, how often have you felt that you were unable to control the important things in your life?
Okay. Ooh, there's a lot going on in my life right now, so I say 3, probably on that one.
In the last month, how often have you felt nervous and stressed?
Oh, 4, for sure. Running a business full time, family and work, working a job that's stressful. Yeah, for sure. All right, 4.
In the last month, how often have you felt confident about your ability to handle your personal problems?
That comes and goes. So I'll probably say sometimes 2. Yeah.
In the last month, how have you felt that things were going? No. In the last month, how often have you felt that things were going your way?
Okay. I guess because I have high expectations for myself, so probably a 2 on that. Very often I feel like I should be doing more, so that's probably my first. Yeah. Okay.
In the last month, how often have you found that you could not cope with all the things that you had to do?
No, never. Almost never. I always feel like I can cope. Yeah.
In the last month,
No, one, almost never, because there's
oh,
always times that like I can't make it. 1,
okay.
yep.
In the last month, how often have you been able to control irritations in your life?
Uh, I say 3. Yeah.
Okay, in the last month, how often have you felt that you were on top of things?
3.
In the last month, how often have you been angered because of things that happened that were outside of your control?
2.
In the last month, how often have you felt difficulties were piling up so high that you could not overcome them?
Hey, somewhere between 2 and 3. Can I say 2.5? I don't know. Because yeah, I mean that's tough. Like sometimes you feel like you got a good handle on things. Sometimes like nah, they're flying out of control. Um, let's say 3. Yeah. All right. So that's how we do the answer the questions. I probably even gave more thought than I should have because the instructions were to answer it quickly, right? Do you feel like I was answering quickly though?
Yeah.
You were? I was? Okay. All right. So let's go into how you grade this. Okay. So I don't know how many people are following along with grading themselves. If you need me to go back to any of those questions, let me know. We have them on the screen here, so I could always just scroll back. So what you're gonna do is go to the next page. Are you count? Actually, no. The scoring system is a little funny. So that what you're gonna do for questions 4, 5, 7, and 8. Okay, you're gonna invert the score. So let's go look for example. Question 4 was a 2, so a 2 is equal to a 2. All right.
Okay.
Question 5 was a 2 equals a 2. Question 7, 3 equals a 1. So probably that would make a 1. Yeah. Okay. And what was it? Question 8. Question 8, yeah, equals a 1. Yeah. Did I do that right? 4, 5, 2, 2. 7, 8. Yeah. So 5, 4, 5, 7, 8 is pay attention to that scoring system. Okay. So now count up my scores.
All of them.
Yeah, with the
Okay.
new numbers. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're looking at how stressful is Lewis. Hopefully, you guys are doing the same thing. Just your. We'll give you. What's nice is it gives you a scoring range to know where you're based on your numbers. How much stress you're going through right now. So I scored where
21.
moderate stress. Okay, better than college days because I think I was, I think yeah, I was a lot more stressed then. But so my stress levels is moderate, which actually makes sense when you how do you stop the screen share? Not sure I exit screen share. Oh, stop sharing here. Yeah. So yeah, when you think about the fact that most people, especially here in America, but I'm sure a lot other places in the world, we experience a lot of stress. More importantly, now we're going to answer the question: the point of our life. Does diet help offset stress? Well, let me ask you what you think. Do you think now, if you eat a healthy diet, that it doesn't really matter so much how much stress you have when it comes to lifespan?
I think that have a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, if a person is very stressed, but their diet is perfect, then they probably could live to ripe old age.
It depends.
On the amount of stress?
Yes.
Okay. So your answer is depends. I don't know what you guys think, but we're going to look what science says, what research says about stress. I found this very interesting because most people would think, you guys would probably think too, that, if you're very stressed, then it doesn't matter how healthy you're eating, you're going to have you're going to be unwell, right? And I'm not saying that we shouldn't manage our stress or seek to manage our stress. But I think it is important to know, well, where does diet play? How important does diet play as a role? Okay. What do you guys think? Okay, we're gonna give the answer to that question, this very important question, very shortly. But I'm curious to know what do you think that diet versus stress when it comes to longevity, living a long life, can stress overpower a healthy diet and cause you to shorten your lifespan? Okay. Now the studies I'm going to go through, they're not perfect, obviously, but I think they do give us a good correlation between stress and longevity, so we can get an idea. All right. So, but yeah, and so this is definitely not what Lewis says. What I reveal is the ultimate answer, no, but it does give us some insight. So, what do you guys think? Do you think stress can overpower a healthy diet and cause you to shorten your lifespan because the amount of stress, cause heart attacks, strokes, despite eating a whole food, low fat, plant-based diet, the holy grail of diets, in our opinion? Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and see. So as you guys are thinking, hopefully, go ahead and put your answers in the chat because we're curious to see what you guys are thinking, that your minds are rolling. Okay. So this first study. Okay. And again, like I said, this is going to be a short live. Oh, I guess you're out of the frame now.
That's okay. That's okay.
Okay. So in this study published in NIH, they basically and this is obvious. Obviously, this is something you don't need to study this. This is kind of silly. This study reveals something very groundbreaking. When we're stressed, we tend to eat bad things. Is that a surprise to anybody? Right? So stress and eating, as because of the positive feedback loop that we have to help offset the negative feelings and emotions. When we're stressed, the majority of people turn to foods that are high in calories, high in fat, and high in sugar. Conrad, is that surprising to you?
No.
Not at all, right? We tend to turn to high calorie, high fat, high sugar foods whenever we're stressed. Okay, so that's something to think about, right? Are you guys doing that? Or are you turning to high calorie, high fat, high sugar foods? For me, two hands up. Yes. About you? Do you feel like you're in that majority?
No.
No. I can attest that my wife is not. She's a unicorn. She's got this thing pretty down pat.
What?
When you don't eat unhealthy when you're stressed. Like
No, I don't eat.
You don't eat at all. Yeah.
I don't eat at all.
So But you're not the type of person that is gonna. I'm feeling down. Let me grab a snack or cupcake or
I
ice
guess it
cream.
depends on the kind of stress.
Okay. Yeah.
Because, like, if you're studying in school, you're stressed out, I think you eat more stuff or
Okay.
whatever.
It's
It
interesting
depends on the
on the level
level.
of stress. And it's
Mhm.
interesting you said that. Okay. So this is the next study I found really interesting. Okay. On stress and unhealthy eating. So this was a study that was published again in NIH. Food selection, how food selection changes under stress. Very simple study. What they did is they separated two groups of people. They put one group in to solve an unsolvable puzzle, and they put another group to solve a solvable puzzle. Yeah. Jackie smokes when stressed. Yeah,
Mm.
smoking is actually a big thing. That's correlated to stress, right? And I want us to think about this, right? Is that so? Because then the question is it the unhealthy behavior that's causing longevity? Because there are studies. I should have prefaced this by saying studies show the more stressed you are, the shorter your lifespan, right? So I kind of you would think on the surface that that means that stress leads to early death. All right, but we're going to challenge that thought, okay? Because stress also leads to unhealthy eating. So is it the stress or is it the unhealthy eating?
Mm.
Right? So that's what we're going to try to answer. So because clearly, like this study demonstrates, the group that had the unsolvable puzzle, they had a choice between M&Ms and grapes. What do you think they chose to eat, snack on, while solving an unsolvable puzzle?
M&Ms.
M&Ms, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? A different group in a different room solving an easy puzzle had a choice between M&Ms and grapes. What do you think they were snacking on?
The grapes.
The grapes.
Wow.
The group with the easy puzzle snacked on grapes because they weren't stressed. It was an easy puzzle, right? The group that was had in the other room that had the same selection, most of them were snacking on the unhealthy snack because it makes you feel good. It's
Yeah.
comforting. So when we're going through hard times and struggling, be mindful of that you might be mindlessly eating because of your stress. And that's why it makes it so hard to stay healthy while stressed. All right. Or if Jackie, like if your cigarettes is a problem, stress can be a big driver of that unhealthy behavior. Okay. But what happens now if you control that? If you control, so studies now will go back, they went back and they controlled for bad diets, right? When it comes to stress. And when you control for a bad diet, when it comes to stress, according to this very long title of the study, I'll read it. The relative contributions, I like that relative, right? Contributions of behavioral, biological, and psychological risk factors in the association between psychosocial stress and all cause mortality among middle and older age adults in the USA. That is a long title. But what they did is basically seeing if what is the effect of stress when you isolate dietary choices. And controlling for dietary choices, stress was not linked to increased mortality or shortening your lifespan. So, in other words, when people's diet stayed the same, stress did not cause you to shorten your lifespan. And I should say also probably include behaviors like smoking too, right? If you're not a person who smokes when you're stressed. So controlling for lifespan. So okay, that's a very interesting study. That's something that kind of gives us a lot of hints in answering this question. This next one is really interesting. So, what time frame do you think could be more stressful than living in a Nazi occupied country in the time of World War II? Stress. Talk about stress, right? So, Carmen, this is amazing. Um, you would think that during Nazi occupation in Norway, right, from 1940 to 1945, that heart attack rates went up. I mean, there were people were being oppressed. The threat of death, the threat of concentration camps, the threat of losing your life and the lives of your family and your loved ones, having to scavenge for food. The starvation, right? But would you be surprised to know that heart attack rates plummeted during that time? They were a quarter of the preceding rate. Is that surprising to
Hmm.
anybody?
Hmm.
So I want to pause for that. Think about it. Why do you think that is? So heart attack rates during World War II, and that during that study of normal rate, they noticed that there was a drastic decrease in heart attacks. What's your guess? What do you think?
Diet.
That's
They have no food to eat.
so fasting is actually good. But no, their diet was lean, so it had low on calories. They had to obviously they had to rely on what grew from the ground or
Mhm.
what grew on a bush. So guess what? They were plant based. Okay, they weren't. There was no more meat right on the table. Okay,
Mhm.
animal fat decreased. Right, they were eating a low fat, whole food, plant based diet by default, and they had a quarter of the rates of heart attacks despite the immense
Mhm.
stress that they went through. Isn't that good? That shows that God has given us everything we need in our food, knowing we're going to go through periods of stress and turmoil and grief and pain. The healing is in the food. Yeah, it was beautiful. We're not going to, I didn't even think about that. But even when you eat fruits and berries and whole grains and nuts, your mood elevates. It actually
Mhm.
is actually medicine for your mood, but also helps alleviate the damage that comes from stress, right? So this is just a conclusion from the I think the Journal of American Medical Association. Yeah, we're gonna have Carme check on Caleb because he's doing something. Their conclusion on this study was stress has little or no effect if the diet is poor in animal fat. That's a direct quote from the Journal of American Medical Association. Stress has little or no effect if the diet is poor in animal fat. That's right. Um, so yeah, I don't know about you guys, but that kind of answers it for me, Kami. um, as you come back in the room, Carmen, I'll show you right here what I just ended on. So this is Journal of American Medical Association's take on that study.
Mhm.
Stress has little or no effect if the diet is poor in animal fat.
Mhm.
So um, I don't know. That should be encouraging to all of us, who are in moderate or high levels of stress. Um, but I think regardless of your stress, you need to have a way of managing it that's healthy. So I guess I'll turn to you and you give your input on what you do, what's helpful for you, you know, and I'll probably give my input. What's helpful? How do you help manage your stress?
Mm, I guess it depends on the stress again, where it's
Mm,
coming from.
mhm,
But easier stress, you try to keep busy and just focus on what is going right
mhm,
and continue doing that. Harder stress, I don't know
mhm,
what you would do.
mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, prayer obviously when you're if you those of us we try to keep our platform open to all belief
Hmm.
systems, but um where if we do encourage trusting in a power greater than yourself, and sometimes that's so important because
Yeah.
just things that are outside your power, but it's nice to know that there is somebody who holds the future that you can't hold, right? Who can guide you towards the unknown. So we really really encourage faith, having faith through it all, that it's all going to turn out fine. I like to practice mindfulness. I like to remind myself that the feelings I feel are just feelings, right? Good or bad, happy or sad, they're basically um, something that is in the moment, but they will fade. So
Mhm.
embracing your feelings is really important. I feel like a way of don't fight the stress, but embrace it and then talk to yourself. Have a mantra for me is he makes all things beautiful in his time, right? So try to find some way to calm yourself with a promise, but don't fight the feelings. That's why I manage it. And then
Mhm.
I would add to that: do things you love, you
Yeah.
enjoy. Do things you enjoy. For me, is the gym I'm about to go to. Okay, so like I love the gym, right? Don't neglect self-care. Do you guys have any advice out there? Let us know in the comment section what it is you are doing to manage your stress. And let us know, is this surprising? Were you surprised with the results of these studies? What's your take? Do you feel like, that's nonsense? Stress kills. I don't care what Lewis says. I don't care what the study says. Stress kills. It's gonna kill me. So I'm gonna eat what I want to eat. No, no. Yeah, we value your opinions and your take. I probably should, as a freebie, I should have given this perceived stress scale as a freebie. I was thinking to do, because we try to give a freebie with every live. Where's my freebie? QR code. Summary, summary page. But this time it's going to be, let me go ahead and create, actually. I might put it in the show notes because I think, actually, you know what, it might be quick enough to. So I'll call this the stress
test.
This is called stress test. All right, stress test. Stress scale. Okay. All right. So this is your stress scale. All right. Oh wait, I put it in the wrong. Did I put it right? I think that'll work. Let me try to scan it. So in the corner there, you have a QR code. Go ahead and scan it, see if it works. If you want to try to do the stress scale, regardless of how much stress you're going through, the camera, you just got to put the camera on. Yeah. And let's see. I'll test it works. All right. Can't use camera, cancel. Oh, you have too much storage on your thing. Okay, she's got too much storage. Let me try mine.
Storage is full.
Yeah. My storage is about full too. Why is your storage so full?
I don't know.
All right. And it should open.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should open. Okay. If you have problems with it and you want me to send it to you, the stress test, then let us know. Another thing, obviously, we always try to encourage people to take advantage of is our consultations. We give free consultations to teach you how to transition to a whole food plant-based diet with the goal of diabetes reversal. But what's great is that it reverses everything else too. Okay, so that's it. That's all we have for you guys. Beloved, I pray above all things that you may prosper and be in good health, even as your